Also wanted to remind you, there's a play coming right downstairs here called Ernie. So again, our beloved Ernie Harwell, our former DSBA Honorary Lifetime member, Ernie Harwell, the play Ernie with Mitch Album as lead producer. You'll get more about that in the mail, but just wanted to mention to you that is coming. It's starting April 28th. It opens here at the City Theater. Also, we got some new members we want to approve for today. So I'm going to need a motion and a second on this motion. If you can, let me read the new members. We're excited. Number one, Scott Harrison, again. Thank you, Scott, for coming and for rejoining. From Bedford Schools, Mickey Kent and Alice Murphy. From Channel 7, Tom Leiden. And two student members want to join our organization, Blake Froling and Brendan Welper. Both of them attend Birmingham Brother Rice, and they would fall into the student or junior membership category. So do I hear a motion for Scott, Mickey, Alice, Tom, Blake, and Brendan?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Any discussion?
Checks cash?
Yes, yes they have. Yeah. All in favor? Members? Opposed? Thank you. Welcome, Scott, and all of you. Thank you very much. President Will Tiemann, I want to bring up now President. Oh yes, yeah. Treasurer Wishman has an announcement. This is a proposed amendment to the Constitution and bylaws, and according to our Constitution and bylaws, this is read by our secretary at this meeting and then left on the table until the next regular meeting when a vote on such amendment or amendments shall be taken. So in Sherry's absence, our treasurer, Bill Wishman, is going to read this.
There's an amendment proposed by a member, Dennis Davison. Detroit Sports Broadcasters Association, amendment to the Constitution as to Article 10, meetings. Article 10, meetings. There shall be a regular meeting at least once per quarter on as many days of the year as possible at a time and a place designated by the Executive Committee. The DSBA shall conduct an annual December holiday party meeting for the purpose of holding elections and celebrating the holiday season. The President may call special meetings at such times and places deemed appropriate by the Executive Committee. Special meetings shall be publicized in official minutes at least 1 week prior to the said special meeting. The amendment is proposed to be read as A, the DSBA will conduct an annual members-only meeting on or before April 15th of each calendar year. The purpose of said meeting will be to review all actions of the Executive Committee from the previous year. The Executive Committee shall provide to the membership at that meeting all minutes from the previous year and a line item financial report. The Executive Committee will provide an overview of all of the current year, including a budget. B, all meetings for all committees, including the Executive Committee, shall be open to the membership. Notification of committee meetings, including locations, shall be made to the membership via email or in other forms of communication 48 hours prior to said meeting. The Executive Committee may conduct a closed session only for a specified concern, such as code of ethics violation. No other DSBA business can be conducted at that session. This request is made under Article 12 amendments. Submitted, Dennis Davison.
All right. Thank you for that reading of that, those proposed amendments. Will Tiemann, President of the SBA. Will, we'd like to bring you up here so you can obviously introduce our guest MC standing in the wings there and give us your words of wisdom, Will.
Thanks, guys. I'd like to thank Bill Harrington for telling me all the cool things I won't win on the Hole in One contest. That made me feel really good. Guy asked me what happened to my voice. I said it's 4 months of calling jump shots, layups, and free throws and never found his way through the basket. That's a little joke. Not very funny, is it? It wasn't very funny when we were missing either. I want to do one thing here, and this is kind of important, I think. John Fountain couldn't be with us today, but last year we began the Ernie Harwell Lifetime Contribution Award, and Ernie Harwell was the first recipient. For 57 years, John was a broadcaster in our state. I met John when I was getting my first Division I college play-by-play job in Miami of Ohio. He was in Eastern Michigan then, and where he was a long time. And I'm going to set this plaque up over there on the table if you want to take time to read it. And one of the reasons why he received this award had nothing to do with the 57 years of saying first and 10 or who made what jump shot. He was one of those rare people, without being urged or coaxed, that contributed. He wrote books to raise money for academic scholarships. He worked to promote our profession. In return, his reward was he enjoyed doing it. So John Fountain, I wish John could be here, because I can make fun of him because he's older than I am. And read this, because this is kind of what the essence of what the DSBA is about, and John represents what's good about what our industry does at times. So there you go, John Fountain wins that award, named after Ernie Harwell. So he's not here, but we're thinking about it. One final announcement here. The DSBA, in our newsletter, we talked about our hourly radio program that will start on a monthly basis on WDFN. We're hoping to start it sooner. Our first program will air Friday, the 29th. It goes 7 to 8 o'clock. It'll feature roundtable discussions with members of the DSBA. And it'll get a second run Sunday at 6 o'clock. And the thing that's important about this, I think it'll showcase some of our celebrity, which is kind of fun. Good, lively sports conversation. But the real focus of this thing is to entertain, but also raise money for our scholarship funds. We've had this fabulous golf outing for years. As Bill said, we're in our 25th. It raises money for a good cause, but we need one more event. We went to the people at Clear Channel and WDFN and said, donate an hour twice, so we can sell time, have sponsors, and all of that money, 100% of that money, goes to our scholarship funds and the charities of the DSBA. So I just want you to know, if you know anybody at WDFN or Clear Channel, thank them, because times are tough, but for somebody to give you a whole hour twice for the sole purpose of raising money for the young people, that's special in my books. Well, in terms of hockey, the only thing I know about hockey is I don't know much about hockey, but I do know this. Ken Cow, I love listening to him. I don't have a clue what he's talking about, but it's funny. Here's Ken Cow, the voice of the Red Wings.
Thank you, Will. I don't have a clue to what I'm talking about either. Hey, how about the food today? Was the food great? Yeah. How about that? You know, a couple weeks ago I was in Ann Arbor and there was this physician talking about all the food that's not good for you. And the food today was excellent, right? But he's standing in front of this whole group of 200 people and he was saying, listen, you can't eat any type of Chinese food because it's loaded with MSG and it's no good for you. Then he goes on to saying you can't have any pop or soda. He says because it'll tear the lining out of your stomach, so you should stay away from that. Then he says you can't eat any red meat because it'll clog your arteries. You could have heart disease. He goes, but there's one food out there that it will guarantee you, if you eat it, a lifetime of sorrow and suffering for your whole life. Does anybody know what that food is? Somebody? Wedding cake. Wedding cake was the answer. But we don't have any lifetime sorrow and suffering with our own Detroit Red Wings. And at this particular point, I would like to bring up our special guest today. Come on, guys. All right, joining us up here in the chairs, we're going to go from left to right here. The Assistant General Manager of Hockey Administrations, we also call him our capologist, Mr. Ryan Martin. And this former player, needs no introduction because now he's an advisor to the General Manager. You all know him, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Chelios. And we really want to thank Jim Nill, who's here taking, he's always here anyway with Kenny Holland, but he is our guest star here today, and of course he's the Vice President and Assistant General Manager, Mr. Jim Nill. Okay, I'm going to start out with a few questions, then we're going to open it up to our audience here, but first and foremost, Jim, 20 years of making the playoffs, how difficult is that, and how special is that for our fans here?
Well, I guess it starts with the fans. You know, just to have that foundation and people supporting us is just so important to the players and to the ownership in the city. But We've been very blessed here. We've had a great core of players over the years. They've all passed on the tradition of the Detroit Red Wings, and really that's what's been the key to the success. I think the stability of the organization has been very important, and that has just continued to carry over, and it continues to carry over.
Chris, you played a long time in the National Hockey League as a player for a couple of different teams. Mike Babcock was talking about veteran players playing now on this Red Wing team, getting the fountain of youth because it's a whole different season. Players get excited. How did you view the playoffs?
Well, it's always like it's a special time. I think I've got more playoff games than anybody. Nick Lidstrom's right on my tail now, and hopefully he can beat that within this year, hopefully. But yeah, they always say it's a step faster. The fans, a good indication is the original 6 games we've had this year, the atmosphere that it brings in the crowd. But you know, you rise to the occasion. It's all about winning the cup, especially now what's happened over here in Detroit the past 14 years. And I can't say about the Gordie Howe days. I'd like to talk about the Bobby Hull days, but they never won since I was alive. So I can't go to that either. So that might have been the problem. But no, it's. I've been here 12 years now. I'm fortunate enough to be with a great organization. You know, without a doubt, one of the best organizations in any sport. So with the success they've had, you mentioned the 20-year run in the playoffs, which I don't know if any other team in any sport's done that. So I find myself in a great position, you know, working underneath Jim and Ryan and Kenny Holland and the Illich family. So it's been, for me and my family, it's been one of the greatest moves I've ever made coming here. And I never would imagine I'd be in this situation. All of you know my Chicago days coming here. So it's great, and I'm looking forward to another great playoffs and a good run by our team.
Since the lockout, money is a big issue now in the National Hockey League, and Ryan Martin handles all the money. He advises both Jimmy and Kenny about our salary cap. And there was a question earlier, Ryan, about when the playoffs end in Grand Rapids. Players that come up from Grand Rapids, is there a worry about the cap issue at that particular point?
The salary cap ends on the last day of the regular season, so in our situation, it doesn't look like Grand Rapids is going to make the playoffs. So the day following the end of the regular season at the NHL level, we can call up anybody that we want. There's no cap restrictions. For those American League teams that are in the playoffs, there's still no cap restrictions, and those NHL clubs can call those players up, but typically, since they are making a playoff run in some cities, that they're left down there until those teams are eliminated. So our goal in bringing up some of those younger guys is to get them into the culture. Unfortunately, they're not in the playoffs, but when they come up and they hang out with us and they go on a playoff run, hopefully it begins to teach them about the winning culture and the highs of winning and the lows of losing, and just to get them into the system and have them around and maybe begin their summer training a little early as well.
Jim, yesterday's game, Henrik Zetterberg was hit by Brian Allen. He went down, played only 4 or 5 minutes of the first period. Any word on him, and what can you relay about this year's Red Wing team going into the playoffs?
Yeah, Henrik injured himself last night. He's going for an MRI today, and as is the status quo with all the media, it's a lower body injury. Yeah, just have replay right here. Here we go. But but it's a lower body injury, and he's getting an MRI today. We haven't heard the results yet, but hopefully everything's gonna be okay and go from there. What was the second part of your question?
The playoffs this year. Do you like what you've assembled right now, and how deep do you think they can go?
Well, we like our team. You know, we're a highly skilled team. We've been, I'd say, a little inconsistent over these last 2 months. A lot of that is because of injuries. You got bodies coming and going, and guys trying to get their game back. But it's part of the playoffs. It's funny, we sit down and we're a bunch of worry warts, and it doesn't matter if we win 10 games in a row. We kind of worry that we're going to lose 2 games along the way here. And if we've lost 10 games in a row, I figure we're going to get swept. I remember Kenny and I back in, I think it was 1997. I think we lost only 11 or 15 games that year. Nobody could beat us, and I remember us walking down the aisle saying, "Who's ever going to beat us in 4 out of 7?" Well, it happened. So the playoffs are a brand new season. We like our team. We like our experience. We like the young kids have really grown. The Helms, Applicators, Kindles, these guys have really taken steps up. So we like our overall team. Now we just got to kind of, it's in place. We got to sit back and watch them play, and away we go.